All right. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're recording this chat with the chief and we are streaming live to Facebook as well. I just want to go over a couple of things. If you have any questions and you're joining us on chat, please put your questions into the chat box and we will answer your questions there. And if you're joining us on Facebook, go ahead and put your questions on Facebook and we'll be monitoring that to answer your questions. This evening we have closed captioning available and we also have Spanish translation available provided by Lupe. So Lupe, if you want to say something to your audience.
Yes. Buenas tardes a todos. Yo soy Lupe y voy a hacer la traducción de esta noche. Si usted tiene alguna pregunta para el jefe de policía, por favor, use la función de chat. Y ahora, darles la bienvenida a nuestros anfitriones, John Pita, un pastor de la iglesia Discovery, y su esposa Vanesa Pita, que tienen 7 años con la iglesia y tienen 3 hijos. Bienvenidos. And I'll turn it over to you, John.
Awesome. Hey, thank you again for having us, Chief.
Yeah.
Jill, Lupe. Like, this is amazing. Super glad that my wife can join us. So glad that you're here, babe.
I'm glad I'm here too.
So cool. I guess we can just get started. Is that okay with you, Chief?
You're ready to beat up on me? Go for it. Let's go. Get it done. Jump right in.
All right. So I think before we jump into questions, because I think we're still waiting for questions to be submitted. A couple of things that I think were very just things that jumped off the page for me that was really exciting to know that the police department is doing. The first one is the police community relations and accountability. So like your book tour signing. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But the idea that you're planning 3 stops throughout the week at different locations in Rohnert Park for you to just talk about community relations and accountability. I think that's super cool. And so I guess if you want to talk a little bit about that real quick, and then.
Yeah, that'd be great. So as you know, when the new council was sworn in, one of their first actions was to come up with their council priorities and goals. And one of those priorities and goals was police, community relations, and accountability. The others were addressing homelessness and climate. But so we've gone to council a couple times with reports. And most recently, last Tuesday, we went to council, the city manager and I, with 9 recommendations.
¿Sí me escuchan? Okay.
Sorry.
With 9 recommendations on how to address the police accountability, call from the public, right? Yeah. It's been an outcry from the public, and so we wanted to do our part and start addressing that. So they approved all 9 recommendations that we brought with them. And so starting next week, myself and members of my command staff, we are going to hold community meetings all throughout the city. And the idea is I want to go out to the different areas. So for instance, I believe next Monday, we're going to do sections A, B, and C. It's going to be at the church on Boers Court.
Okay.
All that information will be coming out. And then we've got another one at Heartwood Church, and we're trying to find locations that are convenient for people so they don't have to travel across town. They work, right?
Yeah.
But it's all about going out, talking about the recommendations that council has approved, how we're going to enact them, and then getting feedback, right? Because these are recommendations that the city manager and I took to council. We feel we're addressing the needs for accountability, and then of course police community relations. But I want to hear from the public. I want to hear from our community, and they don't always have the ability to come down here and talk to me. They're working, they're raising kids, they've got kids in school now, so we're going to go out to the community and talk to them. And the other exciting thing about that is one of the recommendations that we made and the council accepted was to create I'm calling it, still working on it, but right now it's basically the Communities Public Safety Roundtable. And the idea is to get, a group of individuals who represent every aspect of our city, especially individuals who may not have felt they've had a voice in the past, but have things to say, right? And get this group together so that they can come together once every couple of months and tell me what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong and what we need to do to improve. So I'm really excited about that, but going out and I'm hoping to generate interest for that, right? And really get to the people who haven't been able to have that voice, but want to be part of making a difference. So that will be starting next Monday, and it'll be we're going to hit every section. I think we have 9 or 10 of them planned right now. So
that's awesome. Yeah. That's so cool that you are able to do that. And so hopefully people are able to take advantage of that to go out, ask your questions, and it's just going to be a great time. So we're still waiting. I have a couple questions on Facebook. Facebook land, I'm watching you. So we got Lisa on, Katrina on, Ryan on. And so there's actually one question here. Do you have any questions, Jip?
No questions.
No questions. Okay. So everyone's saying hi. But Ryan asked a question and he said, what can be done about a known drug house in H section? Cops have been to this house 20 plus times in the last year, but nothing happens. Everyone knows they are selling out of the house. They are rundown cars parked outside of the court all day, every day. They wait in the car. Then once they get the green light, they walk to the house, deal, then leave. I just don't understand why something can't be done to at least slow this down. The people that it brings into the neighborhood is terrible. So I don't know if you can talk to that, Chief.
Yeah, I know exactly the residents are talking about. I received another email today on it, and I forwarded it to our cops team. Our cops team is a group of individual officers who basically they're my problem-oriented policing team. They address the issues that take a lot of time, take a lot of resources from patrol, and patrol just doesn't have the time to do the long investigations. So I have forwarded that to the cops team. They're aware of the house, and it's not that we haven't done anything. We have done things there. We have made arrests. It's sometimes once the arrest is made and the person is booked, the justice system takes over and we lose control of where that goes. So I won't say we haven't done anything, but I mean it's a problem. And so part of the problem is when we passed Prop 57, Prop 47 a few years ago, we really decriminalized narcotics and drugs, right? You get caught with a baggie of methamphetamine in your pocket, you get a ticket now, right? When I was coming up, when I was a young officer, a bag of methamphetamine bought you a night in jail and a felony.
Wow.
Now, ticket and a misdemeanor, right? And so the sting's not there, right? We lost some of that. And then, the other thing is it's part of the thing is, we can arrest people, right? But people are they're gonna keep coming and they're gonna come back. We need to get, we need the justice system to really start stepping up and helping us with this so that it hurts more to get caught, right, than it does now. Because right now, right. And so we will continue to do it. We'll make arrests, we'll write search warrants. But as long as there's that demand, as long as there are people out there that are willing to drive over to H section and get this stuff, it's going to be an ongoing problem, right? And it's unfortunate because for us, it's a revolving door. We continue to arrest the same people, put them in jail, they get out, they do it over again. But Ryan, your complaint, your concern is not falling on deaf ears. I have forwarded it to the cops team. They will be looking into it, and we'll see if we can't make some kind of impact over there for you, because your quality of life is important to us, and you shouldn't have to deal with that. So thank you for that. And I've got the other email that came in on the same house, so we're aware of it. And again, thank you for letting us know. We'll do what we can.
Awesome. Hope you got that, Ryan. You got something?
Yeah. So I got an email that says, not sure how your department is dealing with increasing car sideshows in Rohnert Park. I understand Santa Rosa is installing 6-inch yellow and white dots on the center lines and lane markers at intersections where there is reported increase of sideshows. How you considered this for Rohnert Park? Can we report intersections where such shows are more noticeable? Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, Larry, that's a good question. I wasn't aware of Santa Rosa doing that exact thing, but I do know that one of the things that we are looking at, because first I'll say we made an arrest the other day on a car that was doing sideshows and drag racing out on Bodway, and it actually almost turned into a pursuit. It ended up being a female driver, young female driver, and 2 males in the car. So we made that arrest. We took care of that. But one of the things we've been talking about is how to attack this through an engineering, series, or, like CEPTED, crime prevention through environmental design, right? How do you design things to put barriers between that? And I think that's a great idea. Believe me, when I come in the morning, I will be calling my public works director, who's our city engineer, and saying, hey, are you aware that this is something they're doing? I hadn't thought about putting dots. I thought about putting, raised curves or something down the center, but that makes it difficult for turn lanes. But anything we can do to make it difficult. And I mean, we're seeing them, but when I look at some of the other cities like San Jose and Oakland and seeing what they're dealing with and the violence that they bring, it's scary. So I don't want it here. So whatever we can do to stop it would be great. And if you do have an intersection, let us know. We have some cameras we can put up. We have some other things we can do. And we have a little system to where if we can at least get a good picture of the car, good picture of the license plate, and identify that in doing the sideshow, we can take their car right out of their driveway for 30 days. So let us. We're more than happy to put cameras in areas.
Yeah. Okay. Man, people acting like it's Fast and the Furious, huh? In Rohnert Park.
Yeah.
That's
The
funny.
gliding, or whatever they're drifting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So back to Facebook. Anna asked, how do we join that? I'm guessing it's not racing. Maybe it's, I don't know, Anna, if you want to chime in, join. Are you talking about the tour?
I think that
Maybe
came in around the community meetings that
Okay.
started. And so that I think that's what she was making reference to.
Okay. So how does she join? Is it just show up? Is that?
Absolutely. So, and Jill takes care of getting everything out there right for me. So I go to Jill, I say, how do we get this out to everybody? So she can talk real quick on how it's going out, but I know probably on our Facebook, our website, but Jill, if you can speak to a minute where people go to get that information, because we're going to be putting there.
Yeah, and so we're going to be putting it out on our communication channels. And so if you're on Nixle, we're going to put it out there, and it's going to tell you what sections and the date, time, and location. So you can look for that. And then we will also be putting it on our Facebook and our other communication channels. If you're on those, I believe we're going to be putting it on our website as well, and a community spotlight and some things on the calendar. So we'll put it there. And so if you're not on any of our communication channels, you may want to look at that. If not, you can always reach out to us directly at Chiefs Chat at rpcity.org, and we can maybe communicate with you directly through email if it's something that you're not able to do on our various communication channels.
That's awesome. Cool.
But you're absolutely right. Show up. We'll make it safe. We'll socially distance, and we'll do whatever but I want to get people to come out and actually have live discussions, with the community. So yeah, just show up, and we'd love to have it.
That's awesome. Cool. So I'm just working my way down Facebook. Lisa asked, did I miss the moderate introduction? That's us, right? I think that's us. So my name's John. This is Vanessa. We pastor a church in Rohnert Park called Discovery Church. Shout out Discovery. Greg Campbell. Do you have any questions, babe?
No, I don't have any
Nothing?
questions. No.
My wife.
Why don't you share?
My
I'm
poor
not-
wife.
I'm not able to participate.
So Greg is asking about what is the progress on evicting the homeless encampment at Burlington Coat Factory? And yeah.
Yes. So that is of course, that's private property. So we've been dealing with Burlington. We've been dealing with the owner of that area there. We have been working with them. Today, we actually took enforcement action against the individual there based on a citizen's arrest. And so if that person is still there tomorrow, then we will go out again. We will take additional enforcement action, but remove that person. And then the company that owns, they're ready to come in and clean it. They just haven't been able to because the person won't leave. So we've now that we've warned trespassing and we've done everything we have to do, we are taking the enforcement action. So the initial thing is we have to get that person removed from the area legally, and then they'll come in and clean it up. I mean, I see your frustration. I drive by and it frustrates me to see this too. I know that our hands are so bound, and so we have to do things so much by the letter, and there's times involved, and legal issues involved, and attorneys involved, and it's so I understand your frustration, but I just want people out there to know that when you're driving by and seeing it, we're driving by and seeing it. We're also working. We're doing everything we can to get it removed, but we have to do it in some really constraining laws. I mean, very constraining.
Right.
It's not as easy as just going and telling somebody you need to get out of here, right? Or you need to leave. You're going to be arrested. Much, much more difficult, right? You have to have a place for them to go in your city, right? And so unless I have a shelter bed in my city available to them, I can't make them leave. And so, I know council, if you go back, you look at the series of council meetings on homeless, council is very dedicated to that. They want to start working on it. And they've done some things to start helping with that, but that we also have to do things within the law, and it's frustrating. So, but your question on Burlington, we are moving towards getting that cleaned up. Unfortunately, we will clean that up, and that person will go to another location and they will do the same exact thing somewhere else. We know that it's going to happen. And so it's a continual issue that we just chase them around. And so while we're on the subject, why don't I just go ahead and speak of the park and ride, because that one will probably come up also. And it should. I mean, if you go to the Bear Republic, go to Mary's Pizza, or you go over that little shopping area over there, and you don't want to look across and see that encampment over there, right? So we had a big push from the public. We were getting a lot of calls, like we are on these others, asking us to do something about the encampment that was under the underpass out by Roberts Lake Road, right? There was an underpass. It wasn't ours. It was state property. And so finally, we talked to the state and said, hey, we're getting so many complaints about this, and it's unhealthy. It's a hazard. You got to do something, right? So they came in, CHP came in, and they cleared that encampment. And all of those people from the encampment moved over to the park and ride, right? So we solved one problem, we created another problem. And so we've posted that encampment, but we are working through some legal questions and issues on the cleanup of it. But we are planning on cleaning it up. We probably are not going to be able to move them, but we will be cleaning it up to try to take away that mess and the hazard while we're working on trying to figure out how to get them removed from that property.
Yeah.
And if you remember, we had that same problem about 1.5 years ago. right? We cleaned it up. We got everybody out there, and now, so that's why I say it just revolves. It's going to go somewhere, right? There's an encampment, and if I move it, it's going somewhere else. They are not leaving Rohnert Park. They're going somewhere else in Rohnert Park. So we just keep chasing.
Yeah. So someone mentioned like how it's sad to see how Rohnert Park wasn't like this when they were a kid. But what I love about another comment, Jose was like, hey, how can us citizens help with this? He specifically says, how can citizens help? Should we should we protest so your hands are not tied? And so I didn't read the protest part, but I love the part where he was like, can citizens help, right? Like, this is a friendly city, right? It's a huge sign that says that. And I believe it. I just, like, how can we help you guys, right?
Yes. Thanks, Jose. So, these are a lot of these are court decisions, right? And so we definitely need our legislatures to come together and figure out how to help solve these problems. And we know that homelessness is basically a lack of homes problem, right? There's just not enough housing. So that's one angle to work on. But getting housing or areas where people can go while they're getting back into society and getting back on their feet is important. And we don't have any of that transitional type housing right now, right? We got to keep doing that. And I hope I don't sound callous here. But one of the people honestly believe that they're helping when they pull out of Costco or they pull out of the Target parking lot and they drop $1 in someone's hat or bucket, right? It makes them feel good, right?
Yeah.
But that's not helping.
Yeah.
That is not helping. If you want to donate money or you want to give to help, give it to the programs that are providing food and shelter so that they can provide those things for the homeless, right? Because I always tell people, I say, if you go to, if you go to the store, right, and you want to buy a certain thing, and every time you go to the store, that store doesn't sell that. Every time you go, it's out, right? You're going to stop going to that store, right? So if the reason that individuals sit at these locations outside of Costco, outside of the Target, outside of this business is because it's lucrative, right? They're there because they're filling their hat, they're filling the bucket every day, right? If it's not lucrative, they will not go there. They're not going to go there just to sit there. They go there for a purpose.
Sure.
So what I say is if you have it to give it to the organizations who are working to feed and shelter them and let them use the money to get them off the street.
Yeah.
Because there's no incentive. If you're going out there making $50, $60 a day, and you're surviving just fine, there's no incentive to move you from the street
Sure.
into programs. So I hope that doesn't sound mean, because it's not meant to be mean. It's meant to more help in the long run than the short term.
Yeah.
So if you want to help, give the money to the programs that are helping, and don't fill the buckets and hats on the street.
That's good. Anything from Zoom?
No, nothing from Zoom
Oh
yet.
my goodness. Okay, so we'll
So
just keep going.
actually, sorry, I want to jump in. If you scroll down a little bit, there is a question from Joan. I'm not sure if it's showing.
I'm kind of confused by her question. It says, who checks go requests? Oh, is that like a program?
It is, yeah. It's a program with Rohnert Park where people can submit, items that they want checked on or concerned about. And so that's the one the Chiefs talked about go request in the past. And so it looks like she submitted and was not getting prompt response. And so she wanted to ask about that.
Okay. Yeah, I've listed some vehicles and it took weeks for something to come out.
Yeah.
So who checks it, I guess?
Yeah, she wanted to know who's checking go request. So that might be something that I'm not sure if we know the frequency of checking that.
Well, apparently no one was checking it right for a while, I tell you. Standing. Maybe I'll just add that to my list of things to do in a day, so it gets checked. So go request is through the city. So I will definitely find out. I was under the impression that it went through our public works department, because most of the go requests are, there's a stop sign down, or so it's usually something with public works. So I will check, and I will get back to that question, but it should be getting checked on a regular basis. So there was just a big kind of change for the city, right? The public works director, after years and years, retired, and the new public works director was our city engineer, is still our city engineer, but is now the public works director also, but came from City Hall over to Public Works. So it may just be, and that took place about a month ago or so. So it may just be a thing that it's something that she's not aware of, that her company. So I'll let her know, but I'll have a chat with her to find out who checks it and make sure it's being checked.
Awesome. Sorry about that, Joan. So Jose, hopefully I see clap emoji. So hopefully that answered your question. So I think that's all that I see as far as like the unsheltered. Someone said, Lisa said, give to unsheltered friends. Shout out Janelle and Paula for running that. But I want to go up a little bit. So Julie wrote, would the new SAFE team be allowed to help on private property like Burlington? And today I discovered what the SAFE or Cahoots is, and I think that is a brilliant program, and on so many levels, and so I don't know, Chief, if you want to explain what that is for people who don't know, and then maybe answer Julie's question on would they be able to go on private property to help people out.
Absolutely. So back in the late 70s, the Whitebird Clinic up in Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, was dealing with a lot of unsheltered people and mental health issues, and they came up with this idea to say, hey, maybe there's a better way than to have like police responding to these calls. So they came out with this program called Cahoots. It's crisis assistance helping out on the street. And so what they did was they got this old van, and they put a crisis worker and an EMT in the van.
So cool.
And they said, we're going to send you, when we get a call of someone's, husband or daughter or son or nephew or whatever is having a mental crisis, right? Instead of sending the blue uniforms wearing the guns, we're going to send you, right, to go out there and see if we can calm the situation and work it out better. Well, I mean, it was a great program, and it has worked. It has worked for many years, and they have perfected it, right? And so it's one of the programs we're bringing to Rohnert Park, and so we're in the midst of it right now. We actually took our van. We're having trouble ordering a van because no one can buy a car right now, right? But we've ordered the new van, which will take about 6 to 9 months to get in and get it outfitted. But we're also taking one of our old vans the city owns, and we're having it retrofitted. It's at the shop right now to get wrapped. So we're hoping to have this program out, really soon, as soon as we can get the vehicle. But the idea is we're going to put a crisis worker and an EMT in there. And, when calls come in that don't really need a police response, but we are the ones that have been going to them all this time because that's what we have, we're going to send a SAFE team. And it's specialized assistance for everyone. It's going to do a wide variety of things. It's going to help us kind of address and deal with some of the homeless issues. It's going to address some of the mental issues, the crisis issues that we see. So it's an awesome program, and I am so excited to bring it here. And they're not an enforcement group, right? They don't enforce laws or anything. So they will be able to go on to private property and address some of these individuals and help them and connect them to the host team, which is our homeless outreach team, right? So it's the SAFE team is going to have a lot of different tentacles, and one of them is definitely connecting our homeless unsheltered population with services, and our host team and the Catholic Charities. So it's just another thing we're bringing in to try to address this homeless issue. And you mentioned it earlier, Jose, if anybody does want to really get involved, and we do have the homeless roundtable, that information is on the city website, and anybody who wants to be part of that solution can come and is welcome to be part of the homeless roundtable.
That's awesome. So Jose, I guess following up, and then Dan, something on Zoom, but he asked about the COVID money. Can COVID money be used for sheltering, finding shelter for the unsheltered?
So I think he's probably talking about the ARP, American Rescue Plan funding that's coming down through cities. There are a lot of discussions right now on how to best use that funding to help the community. And, I know that we have had discussions on, can we use that to try to get some transitional, lower lower income housing so people can afford to get into housing. So there are some strings tied to that money, definitely. But we're looking to see how we can use it and whether we can use it to address some of the homeless issues we're dealing with.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, I finally have a question here. I hear there's a high volume of wallet and purse thefts. What is the department doing about that?
I have not been notified of a high volume. I know some of our cities around us have had a lot of window smash. They've had the store burglary, where these groups go in and they just take over a store. And it's not necessarily that I would know if it's not hitting a huge number, it's not a streak, but Jill is our crime analyst. That's her actual job. I just pull her into this to help me out. Jill, have you seen a rash or a rise in that wallet?
Yeah, it comes and goes. It kind of goes in waves. There are kind of crews that come in and we kind of watch them and we can kind of see different locations. And so, the officers or investigations will do their part in identifying those folks. And a lot of times other jurisdictions will work together in identifying certain folks who are doing it. We did put out on social media, it was a little while ago when we saw this happen again. It was just kind of a reminder for folks really to not provide the opportunity. And a lot of this started again when back kind of around June, we started to see it. Once the shelter in place order was lifted, people were going back to restaurants and they were so kind of excited to be back in their restaurant. They're leaving their purse kind of on the floor, not as maybe attentive, or they would leave their purse in a chair to go pick up some food, and providing a lot of opportunity. And so we've had these things come in the past. I think that was really where we kind of started seeing that happen again. And we typically see it when people leave their purse in a shopping cart open, and then opportunity, and they'll be usually a group and they'll do some distraction to ask you some questions, and another counterpart will go and take the wallet. So the best thing is prevention, and to keep your purse and wallet secure. Carry a purse that's kind of close to your body. And anytime you put your purse or wallet or bag, tote, what you're using down, kind of be mindful of who's around you and just don't provide the opportunity. So fortunately, we will sometimes get some surveillance and we can follow up on those, but the best thing to do is try to prevent it before it happens, because ultimately they'll use credit cards and other things that are attained in your wallet. So that's what we kind of recommend, just to try to be mindful of where you're leaving your items.
Yeah, we always talk, many times we talk, we say it that in order to have a crime, you have to have intent and opportunity, right?
Right.
You can't always be intent because that's in the mind of the criminal, right? So we have to address opportunity. So yeah, just be careful. Not everybody has good intentions out there.
Yeah. I'd say leaving your purse in a shopping cart is the perfect opportunity.
I do that.
Do you do that?
Yeah, I do.
Oh Lord Jesus.
I know.
Someone like I can't even believe this.
I know when I'm at Target, I leave it on the near me, but I'm aware of that because I know there's a lot of shady people.
Jill, talk to her. Talk to her, Jill.
I am so glad you joined us today.
Yeah, like I'm like, wait, why would I do that? My wife's like, I do it. Anyways,
Yeah, I know.
focus. It's not about Target.
I mean, to follow up, this said that this friend had her wallet taken from Home Depot. She did a report, but the department isn't doing anything. Plus, she has pictures of the 4 people who grabbed the wallet.
Oh wow.
So
I am familiar with that particular case, and that was a case, as Jill was saying, little team of people. Somebody distracted her, oh, can you look at, and so had her back to it, and the wallet was gone. And absolutely, we do have those pictures. We have the pictures of the people.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the pictures don't come with names,
yeah,
right? So
true.
when we put those out, we say, does anybody know this person? We need someone to say, oh, that's John Smith and Betty Jones. I mean, I know them because yes, there's a lot of times we have a picture of a suspect, but we don't know everybody. And so when we put them out on social media, we'll send them out to our Facebook pages and stuff and say, anybody know this person? And so, it's not that we didn't do anything, but those pictures don't come with names and addresses. So we sometimes need the public's help to say, I know that person.
Yeah.
Well, and
So,
oftentimes these folks, they move around, they travel. So these aren't folks that necessarily we're aware of or have encountered yet in our jurisdictions or here locally. So they might be coming from different locations.
That's true.
And so that's part of the, identification process is, identifying folks. But like I said, if they're coming from another area, we're not familiar with them, that poses an additional challenge.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, not only that, you got, there's, and I understand like the privacy thing, and I understand, people are concerned about like facial recognition stuff. There's a lot of pushback on facial recognition and things that law enforcement is trying to just use to help solve these types of crimes, right? But there is so much pushback that sometimes we lose these tools.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a tool out there that might help us, because if this person was arrested and has a booking photo and we're able to use facial recognition software, we could probably figure out who they are. But because there's so much pushback, sometimes we roadblock ourselves with this stuff. So I'm not telling anybody how they should feel or how they should think about it, but just understand when you push back on something like that, you may be roadblocking things like this, right? So, if this is a crew out of the Bay Area and they're coming up and they're starting at Windsor or Cloverdale and they're just working their way down 101, we're probably not going to know who they are, right? They're in, they're out, they're quick, they're professionals. Believe me, they didn't just wake up one morning and go, hey, let's steal a bunch of wallets. It's a system they use, right? But we have a system here, it's called Alert, right? And we put out this stuff all the time. And so they will get caught at some point. And, if let's say they get caught in Oakland or San Jose, we'll get an alert, say, hey, any similars? We just arrested these people. And then we can a lot of times match them up. Hey, those are the same people that were in our case. So just because the case sits doesn't mean we've forgotten about it. We just are waiting for that next clue to take us further.
Yeah. I think what's part of the problem too, Chief. So my wife and I, we got our cars like broken into a while back, and it like there was just
Christmas.
Was it the day after Christmas?
Day after Christmas.
Oh my gosh. So like obviously that was the first time we ever like were robbed, and there's just like that sense of like violation that takes place, but there was a point too where like we had called the police, they came out, and it just seemed like it took forever. But in hindsight, I don't think it really did. I guess what I'm saying is like, we're so used to like police shows that are like the robbery starts and is finished right in like 60 minutes, and so like for me, that was like, I had to stop and think like, whoa, hold on a second. Like, this is real life. It's going to take longer than 60 minutes. So I think
pretty short because he left some information. He left his prescriptions or something like
Yeah.
that. So it was kind of a quick.
It was super bizarre.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But here's the good thing about that, and not, but Vanessa's purse was probably in the shopping cart, so it wasn't in the car to get stolen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, thank God for that. But now she knows not to do that. So
I gotta work it if
so back on Facebook, Doris, I see you. Compassionate and care. Compassionate to care. That's the big thing. She was just referencing about Kahoot sounds good, but donations could mean being fed or not. So I feel you on that, Doris. Lisa asked about. Lisa wants to know about ride-alongs, Chief. Ooh.
We love ride-alongs. We, when June 15th came and, the masking requirements left and everybody started opening up, we were excited about the fact that we could invite people back in to start our ride-along program again. There's nothing we like better than sharing what the officers do on a day-to-day basis out there with our community. Because just like you said, police shows, the crime, the arrest, and the conviction all takes place in 1 hour, right? With commercials, right?
Right.
And so coming out and actually getting in the car, hearing the sounds of the radio, just that and seeing what they're doing gives you a whole new perspective on, so the shows are cool, but this is, as Vanessa said, real life, right? So we cannot wait to open up our ride-along program again. And because I always think it's funny when you have a ride-along and they've never been in a police car, and all of a sudden a violation happens, and you turn those lights on and you whip that car around, the adrenaline in that person's body just shoots up because they're like, oh, what just happened? What? This is real now. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
So anyway, Lisa, we hopefully you'll be the first to sign up when we open them up. And I promise you, as soon as the health department and the county says that we can start doing them again, we will blast it out on our social media and Nixle and everything to let people know. And on that note, we're also going to be working on getting a civilian academy going again. So hopefully people get excited about that. We bring them in and we put them through I think it's so many days a week, so many weeks, little police academy here, and familiarize them with everything we do. So that's also something that you can hopefully look forward to.
Yeah. Okay. Facebook, Lisa, I hear you. People are running red lights. They have no respect for the law. I don't know what can be done, but it's disgusting about running red lights. So I don't know if there's anything you can say about that. It's a bummer for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the first thing I would say is, grow up, be an adult. You get a driver's license, understand that you're driving a 2,000-pound vehicle, right? Yeah. And it's dangerous. You can hurt people, right? Yeah. So if you're going to drive a vehicle, act like you're grown up and grow up all the laws. You're not special, right? You are not above the law, and you have no right to do that. You're just you're putting people in jeopardy.
Yeah.
To get somewhere a few minutes earlier. So you need to stop and grow up. Number two is, one of the things that we're about to do is we're about to send one of our patrol officers to motor school, because we have a spot in the school. And so I'm excited about it, because not only will we have the traffic division, the traffic motor traffic, but we're also going to have a motor officer assigned to patrol. So with the idea that when you're not going to calls, your proactivity is to assist and do traffic, right? So we're doing whatever we can, whatever creative ways we can find to get more traffic enforcement out there, because our patrol officers, it is a part of their duties, but they're generally running to calls. So the traffic kind of falls on our traffic division. So we're trying to figure out ways to free up our patrol division. One of those was to tell them we want you to do at least an hour of traffic control a day. We have seen an increase. But that person you're talking about that runs a red light, they never do it when we're sitting there.
Right.
We're sitting there. They always do it when we're gone. So it's like, part of it is we just expect you to follow the law.
Yeah.
know? Kind of like the question a while back about the bike helmets. Why aren't we writing citations for kids without bike helmets? And my thing is, why are you as a parent not making your kid wear a helmet? Right? I mean, we'll enforce the law, but the parenting part helps. So
Yeah.
just help us out by doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, so I think that like CHP is really good at hiding. Maybe get some lessons on how to hide, because they always come out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, geez, where'd they come from? Like, not saying I speed or anything,
pulled over.
right? Or I never get pulled over. But anyways, Deo, what kinds of on and off duty benefits do your officers enjoy with your department? So like access to gyms, special allowances, etc. I think that's a great question.
Well, one of the things that, we have the community center with the fitness center. And so all city employees get, that's part of being an employee there. You get a membership at the fitness center. We're pretty strict on gratuities. I consider this is a great job. We get paid well. We have a really good retirement. And so, I don't want gratuities. We don't need gratuities, right? I'd rather people put those somewhere else. And here's let me give you an example. This just happened tonight, and this was not planned. So this is awesome. So a while back, we were asked to go to the Soccer Stars. The little soccer program was having their end of the year graduation, end of the year party, whatever. And so they had asked, hey, can public safety swing by and see the kids, right? And we had found out that one of the kids in the program on one of the days was part of the family that lost their house on Emily a while back, right? And so the fire, of course, the guys assigned the fire, they took fire engines over there and they did this, they were there for the kids and it was great, right? They were there for the Soccer Stars graduation. And on one of the days, that family who lost the home, it didn't completely burn, but they had to move out of it while it's getting fixed or whatever. They actually gave our officers, the firefighters, they walked up and said, we want to thank you for what you did to save the part of our home you could. And they gave the firefighters a $75 gift card. Wow. And said, we want you guys to take this and go out and eat or do something, right? And this is where I just have these really proud moments of our guys and gals, because they could have done that. It'd have been really easy to take that $75 gas card or $75 gift card and just take the whole crew out to a restaurant and had serve them, right? They actually took that $75 gas card or gift card, and today they went and bought $75 worth of groceries.
Wow.
They went to the firehouse and they cooked a traditional firehouse dinner. And about 30 minutes before I jumped on this Zoom, I was able to go with him, and they delivered dinner to that family.
Wow.
And thank them, but said, we want to give back to you. You lost your house, you've been displaced. So, I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah, we kind of we try to put it back. Anything that we get, we try to put back in the community. But that was pretty hard. That was emotional out there, seeing the family and how much they appreciated it.
Wow.
My crews could have taken that gift card and went and had a great dinner, and they didn't. They said, hey, we're fine, and they fed them. So hopefully maybe that helps answer that question.
Man, hey, your crew needs to come down to 723 Boris Court. Feed. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't mean to cut that was just very sweet.
Randy's gonna be upset if we keep talking about Boris Court.
Okay, so Dale, asked, do you have a reserve program that takes level 2 and 3 reserves? I'm not sure what that means. And then also Jennifer, the chief had talked about that a little bit earlier in regards to the tents across from Mary's Pizza. So I just want to make sure that you know that we see you. So.
All right. I still think you should share more questions with Vanessa. I think you're kind of just.
No one's on Zoom.
Okay, I do have one.
Okay.
What is the most common?
I'm leaving.
What is the most common call your officers respond to? At this
All right. I mean, probably 415s would be one, which is a dispute. So that could take in domestic type disputes. That could take in brother and sister disputes. We do a lot. We go to a lot of disputes, right? And we're kind of the mediator a lot of times, or the referee, right? So that's one. Because we're public safety and you know, our dispatches both our police and fire, and they're the same kind of people. They're the same people. A lot of medical aid calls, a lot of medical calls we go to. We go to a lot of traffic complaint calls. Would probably be another one. I mean, I think those are the big one. There's such a variety during the day of what we can go to, but I would definitely say the 415 disturbance calls are probably the majority.
And the category of disturbance covers a lot. So we've got disturbance noise or disturbance to various. And so if you look at the disturbance category, I would agree with you. It's kind of like we have these groupings that we kind of respond to. They're specific. So I was trying to actually pull it real quick, but my query won't run. It's still loading. We've got so many calls. I was going to try to tell you real quick, but yeah, historically, a lot of the disturbance related calls and a lot of suspicious calls where people want us to check on something, and that can be a multitude of reasons. So checking.
And homeless.
Yeah.
A lot of calls every day.
Wow.
So, hey, and John, you asked about the question about the reserves.
Yes.
So I have no reserves in this department right now. And the main reason is because it's just really hard to get reserves, right? Pretty much in order to be a level 1, you have to go through a full academy. And if someone's going to go through a full academy, they generally want to be a police officer, not a reserve.
Gotcha.
Years ago when I worked in Woodland, it was different, right? You could go through the module academies and take your time and become a level 1 reserve or level 2. But you know, most of our reserves work for PG&E. They had their full-time job. They just wanted to kind of have do this on a weekend. It's hard to find those individuals anymore. But if someone's a level 2 reserve and they're interested in it, I am interested in talking to them. So the difference is a level 1 reserve, once they get through a field training program, they can actually work on their own. They can go out, get in the car, go out and handle calls just like a regular police officer, right? A level 2 reserve is different because they're just short. They don't have as many academy hours. They're a police officer. They have the same police officer powers, but they have to work with a partner. So if you have a level 2 reserve, it's a double car. It's always a double car. That person can't get separated. So it's not like I can say, hey, I'll take this side of the building, you go around that side of the building. We're a partnership. But most people, if they get to the level 2, they just finish the level 1 and become a police officer. But I think reserve programs are awesome. And I'm more than willing to talk to somebody who would be interested in being a reserve. Level 3's a little different. Those are what they call technical reserves. They really don't get out in the field. So I don't know that I'd have a program for a level 2, but a level 3, but level 2, possible.
Okay. With all the challenges facing law enforcement today, what do you do to recruit new officers or retain your current staff? And he said, by the way, congrats on the 3 new members.
Thank you. That's it was great to get them in. And we had hired one just before, so that was we actually got 4 out of that. So we just put 5 in the academy. They started 3 weeks ago, maybe a month. So we got those 5 in the academy, and we're starting another recruitment right now. I will tell you, it's difficult. You know, we opened up a recruitment and we're talking about an agency who is willing to hire you and pay you to go to the academy, right? I mean, when I went to the academy, I put myself through. I took a $10,000 loan out at Bank of America to pay my bills for 4 months while I put myself through the academy, right? Woo. And now I will pay you and pay for the academy, right? I'll hire you and send you through and pay you to come. And I think when I talk to everybody, recruiting is getting tougher. We just opened up the recruiting to do that for public safety trainee, and we got 26 applications. You know, 2 years ago, we got 100.
Wow.
When we opened.
Wow.
So, you know, it's just, there's been a lot of negative press and a lot of negative stories about police, and, you know, the individuals who caused those issues, the individuals who did that, absolutely, but it's given the entire profession a black eye, right? And so we're trying to come out of that. We're trying to rebuild it, you know, but I think that people are sitting back and they're saying, I think I'm going to give it a little bit more time before I decide whether I want to jump into that profession right now.
Yeah.
So recruiting is getting tougher. Retention, same thing. You know, you just try to create a great environment to work in, right? And I don't have every answer, and I know that I don't do everything right, and I make some mistakes, but I try to create a great environment here where people want to come to work, right? It's like I don't want people waking up on their Monday saying, I got to go to work, right? I want them to think, all right, I got a weekend. I mean, it's all right. It's a good place to work. So you just try to create that environment. You give them the tools they need, you know, pay them a fair wage, respect them, and hope that they see the benefits of the life work balance that we try to create here. That's how we go. But we lose it every once in a while. We lose them, usually for the right reasons. They move to the family, or you know, just an area they always wanted to work where their dad worked or something. So, yeah.
Awesome. So I know we're ending on time pretty soon. I think it's important just to for like the people that are saying thank you and how they love your team, right? Like, because a lot of the things that we talk about here, it's like, why aren't you doing this, or how do you do that, right? And so it's just kind of nice to end with some people that are just saying thank you. So Rachel said, we love your team. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate so much you do for folks. And then Bob said, I would like to thank all the RPPNF for all their hard work they do, keeping everyone safe. Always be safe out there, and God bless. So yeah, I just think it's cool for you guys to know that I think you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I feel safe in Rohnert Park, except for Walmart parking lot at night. But that's another story. That's another story. But yeah, thank you, Chief. I really appreciate you and just
team.
your team and your transparency on these chat with the Chiefs. You know.
That's good.
Well, I mean, I literally just looked up and saw what time it was, because every time you're on, and Vanesa just added to this, right? The time goes so quick. You guys do such a great job of keeping the conversation going, and I appreciate it. And I will try to give you more than a day's notice next time, right? But, I also like keeping you on your toes. But you know, we know the Department of Public Safety here in Rohnert Park knows that we're supported by our community.
Good.
There was a lot of chatter and there was a lot of protests going on, but you know what? The city of Rohnert Park didn't do that. They didn't come down to burn this place down. They said, we stand behind our public safety because we know they do a good job. And I'm proud of that. And I'm proud that the community rallies around us, because if we don't have support of the community, it doesn't matter what we do here, we're not going to be successful. So, so look out for those section meetings.
Yep.
I'm excited for them. You know, if you're out there and you think, you know what, I have a lot to say, but I really don't have a platform to voice my opinions, and I represent a lot of people who come to me with issues and problems. Think about being part of this roundtable that we're putting together, So you can tell me, because I keep saying, if I don't know it's broke, I can't fix it, right? So help me fix the things that are broke. We do a great job, but we're not perfect. So keep taking steps forward.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
Look at that. I mean, I like 7 o'clock.
Right there, man. Like, good God.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining, and I hope you all have a safe night and a safe work week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Although we might, because we're doing the section meeting, so I don't know if we'll have one on, because I'll be out doing them live. So there may not be a chat, whatever day that would be.
We'll send out a nixle ahead of time, letting folks know when we're doing our chat.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
for the
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just come see us.
all right.
Cool.
All right.
Thank
Hey,
you.
you need some WD-40 for that chair, Chief.
This is the second time it's happened. I did. I gotta have to spray it again. Gonna have to spray it again.
Awesome. All right.
You know what I think? I think I just need to sit still. I can't sit still, right? I'm always moving. So
Oh man,
All right.
so much fun. Awesome. Well, have a great night, everybody.
Right.
you bet.
Everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.